really need 54 more patrons as of writing. Please ignore the paid members bit on Patreon, it's not updating for some reason. I don't have 379, I have 396 patrons. With 450, I don't see us ever getting low enough to have to put One Piece back onto hiatus again. It was on hiatus November 1st to the 6th. We dropped $121 on November 1st due to declined pledges, and it took 6 days to build back up. So if you love this series and want to see it continue, please do consider clicking the link in the description, and if you do have some spare funds, feel free to pledge. I genuinely want to continue creating this series. I'm having a lot of fun, and you know I wouldn't just say that, I'm honest. But I only watch what I'm covering due to a lack of free time, so yeah, please consider pledging and hopefully we will never drop below $22.50 and go onto hiatus once again. 54 people as of writing, I hope you're out there, and I'll update that number each new video, and please note bi-weekly is the least I'll make on One Piece, but I can see myself doing weekly videos sometimes. Heck, I had part 2 done very quickly, but couldn't release it due to the nearly week-long hiatus. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the video. Two wins here to kick off the episode. Firstly, you gotta give props for the voice actor. That's some consistent screaming too, like no voice breaking or anything close to it. Secondly, it's for another not running on the spot. Yet another different way to use his ability to attack. His growling in the background. A really impressive showcasing of the strength Luffy actually has in his body this early on in the anime. That. This moment got me appreciating how environmental damage was carried over scene by scene quite impressively, because although it may not look it, a lot was going on in the fight so far. A pretty easy way of showing his strength, given that 3 young lads pulling together couldn't unlodge it. A clever technique being used there to show the reflection in the ruined glasses of everything he's done in the house. I'm glad they added this, it adds weight to just how much trust she had in him, because the average viewer might say, why would she not believe him? But initially she didn't even believe this dude. The payoff for the truth being learnt is actually even better than I thought it'd be. Says a lot about her that she throws herself headfirst into a situation as horrible as this in order to help the people of the island, in spite of it basically being her father figure doing the deed. I've noted an interesting theme in One Piece so far, and that's that the side characters are given quite a bit of screen time. They're not just there for the main characters to interact with and then on to the next main character scene. I'm actually giving a follow-up win here to win number 219, because here we cut back to this scene and again the environmental damage is consistent, such as the rock the pirate smashed before and so on. Purely Pisner from One Punch Man. The principal from My Hero Academia. Talking about consistent damage, it's pretty cool that he's still hurt and isn't magically back to normal since a few episodes have gone by. Keep in mind, I saw this episode 4 years ago. By the way, I'm into new territory from part 4 onwards, and I still got caught off guard by this twist. What I like about this world is that strength and power is different across a wide branch of possibilities. It's not all down to one thing like the devil fruits. Makes for interesting fights. Huge credit for an anti-anime trope there. Let's be real, we were all very much waiting for someone to do something to save him, but he just gets out of it himself. The dude is so tough he willingly takes a shot to the back to ensure that they consider him their main target and not those two since they're injured. He's nuts!
せめてあと一本刀があれば。
She continues to be great in many, many small ways, such as helping Usopp to somewhere safer earlier on, and now using her head without anyone saying anything and heading off to get his swords.
キャプテンクロ殺される。
That's well done. I was so into the battles I legit forgot that he was even on his way down there. Fantastic use of very creepy music there to really sell the scene for the arrival of the big boss. Also though, the scene itself just looked really cool, with it zooming from the ship all the way to his legs, and again, everything is consistent across the scene, position and damage wise.
誰がなんじゃくだと聞いてくれるぜキャプテンクロ
This is another thing I really like. It's not very anime-ish for people on his own side to suddenly attack him due to an insult. That was awesome.
自分の顔を傷つけねえための奇妙なメガネの上げ方
I know I already winged it during part 2, but take one here for when the anime takes a moment to reveal it. She continues to prove her worth, even whilst now injured herself.
ありがとうよ。
Really wasn't sure about the 3 swords thing when I first saw it, but he really does look cool in this stance. He really is cool with 3 swords though, isn't he?
このニャーバンブラザーズを一撃
I mentioned in part 2 that it would have been a hard sell to show him as a good guy in the future if he did too much bad stuff now, so it's good that he isn't just like attacking her next to him. A good addition to win number 231. It's got nothing to do with a devil fruit, but he has this ability that really helps his allies in battle. It's just a thing he can do and allows for similar stuff down the line. Luffy saving her by accident, and of course, once again, she's just really helpful during the battle. She's already done like 4 or 5? No, 5 at least different things to seriously help already. Luffy getting woken up and getting back into the game!
Nami, お前、肩怪我したのか？なんでもない、平気よ。
That transition of him being angry at her, thinking she hurt his face with the disc, to him being genuinely concerned for her health, with what can only be described as a caring tone of voice.
頑張って、私の宝のために。よっしゃ、それでこそお前だ。
Her not just changing overnight and still very much being in this for her treasure makes perfect sense.
そろそろ皆殺しの時間だ。
It must have been a serious pain to have to animate his blades, with there being 10 of them, and him moving his arms all the time, but they did it! And just a straight up awesome looking and unique zooming out shot.
ごめんなさい、ウソップさん。
Usopp being a legend and rescuing her in spite of their last interaction being so bad, but obviously he doesn't let that stop his feelings for her, which is nice.
あなたが遺書を残して死ぬ。この2つは絶対なんですよ。この3年であなたも立派になられたものだ。カヤお嬢様。
Credit to the voice actor for being able to switch between the evil pirate captain and then the caring man who was like a father figure to her. Actually take another one here because I do like how he doesn't just repent and struggle with his actions. He's a horrible person through and through, and that's unique for an anime, really. They do such a great job as a studio with these totally unique kinds of angles and shots. Now that's the kind of anime trope I was talking about, but it was still incredibly awesome how they did it.
殴られるのがそんなに嫌なら、あと100発ぶち込んでやるぜ。
Such an awesome end to the episode, I love it. Nice art style change there too. Looked like it was ripped right out of the manga to me. The studio really does deserve so much credit for the dedication to animation quality. I mean, there's so many people in the scenes, from 2 angles, but all of them are hand done and look good too. At the very least, it says something positive about him, that he didn't attack them. Easily could have done that, and someone saves them, but he chose to walk away.
随分と奇怪な技を使うもんだ。
For the final time, take a win for the position of everything in the scene. I can almost feel the annoyance of having to place everything and remember where it should be in the scene. Hats off to them. For an older anime, I'm really impressed with the music, sound, and animation style on the battles. It could have been done a lot easier than this, but they clearly took some harder routes for quality.
カヤを守れ。大切なものを守れる男になるために俺たちは海賊団を結成したんだ。
2 wins here. To start off, it's great that the kids are included yet again. Oda did a great job of including them, so it logically could lead to this scene with them directly helping. But also, whatever song that is playing in the background is straight up lovely. Sounds like some classical type music or something.
逃げられるわけがねえだろ。
You know what's weird? In the Sin's head space, I believe I found Usopp to be useless, but in a Win's brain, I look for good qualities and everything else, and so here, he's just a badass helping them in that state. JoJo looking stance! I mean, after I said the 3 swords thing was cool, would be incredibly lame not to include this moment. Arguably the coolest looking thing he's done with the 3 swords to date. Always been a personal favourite of mine, characters finding a way to push past their limits, and I never expected him to be doing it so early on, I must say. You know, even though I wrote the last win, I like this even more. Sometimes you just don't have anything in the tank, and that's what happened here, and it's realistic. This got the video its first 2 max wins. First of all, outstanding voice acting, that was epic, but secondly, it's because it hyped me to new levels, especially when that music then kicked in too. Great demonstration of Luffy's strength. It's not 100% about just being rubber, that's for damn sure, boy. It's really interesting getting to see Luffy fight someone whose main strength is his speed, really, and how he'll handle the fight. Just enjoy watching him fight, to be fair. See, now this is the kind of stuff I love. His first 2 attacks failed, so this time he attempts to grab him and attack down the middle. It doesn't work, but it shows he's not just throwing the same moves. I won't keep banging on about it, but the same thing applies here. A sweep to make him jump, and then try and catch him whilst he's in the air instead. That was creepy and well animated.
俺はキャプテンクローをやめるつもりだ。
Learning his reason for giving up his old life to concentrate on his plan, and it's pretty logical and straightforward. He's tired of being endlessly chased, and it's fair enough.
海軍はあんたが死ぬまで追い回すと思うぜ。
船長相手は何隻だ。1隻です。
I think it's really clever to have this conversation from the past take place during a time where they are both literally being attacked by the Navy.
砕けた顎でそれだけ吠えられりゃ上等だよ。
The anime leaning into an unexpected darker side here. Marines taken out, him coughing up blood, and then this. That was very much unexpected.
そしてお前はこのキャプテンクローを捕まえた男だ。キャプテンクローを捕まえた男だ。
またやってるよ副船長。
God, I just love it when he accidentally hypnotizes himself.
って名を上げることが怖くて 賊がやれるか
Luffy's strength again on display, but this one is for how different he is as a pirate. Really makes you understand early on that not all pirates are clearly going to be the same out there.
どこに逃げた？こっちだ。
I know it's only for comedy, but I honestly felt that, like, a little bit of fear for them getting caught.
ありがとう助けてくれて嬉しかったみんなの気持ちだけで十分よ
I love this because the voice actor managed to bring across a calm but urgent tone. A quick thank you, but I'll be okay and you need to leave, because she knew he was getting closer. This is what I was speaking on before, about giving side characters a hell of a lot of time in the limelight.
この計画の心配なら不要だ。てめえらの屍さえあれば何なりと濡れ衣を着せられるから、この俺の生存を知る輩に生きててもらっちゃう。
A prime example of how this guy is just nuts and evil, basically. He's more than happy to turn on his own people at the drop of a hat.
バカかお前らかっこ悪い海賊団だな
Loving Luffy's casual take on what he's just seen and heard, but with an undertone of, this isn't what pirate life is to me.
これが海賊のあり方というものだ。
Interesting that he felt the need to break the silence between them as Luffy just stared after hearing the nonsense spill out of his mouth that his men should just die for his plans.
言ってみろ。
Rotating shot like it's absolutely no big deal whatsoever.
本物の海賊を知らないぜ
Great statement and a great attack.
今度は壁か何が起こってるの人が突然切られてく
To me, this is exciting, going back to what I said earlier on about unique battles. It's not just about devil fruit. This guy is just a strong guy and yet has this insane ability.
お前は仲間を何だと思ってるんだ
Luffy is my favourite for times like this, where his notion of what it means to be a pirate is spit on by someone horrible and it breaks his calm, carefree demeanour. He managed to grab him in spite of the incredible speeds he's going and take him down.
故障攻撃
Their attacks being quite clever for a bunch of kids, showing that they've learned from Usopp in terms of using the environment and simple tools to gain the upper hand.
さっさと用を済ませた方が良さそうだな。
They really do have some excellent music in this one.
疲れたのか
How is he so incredibly carefree though? Now that's anti-anime right there. He says, I'm gonna show you fear and then cook you. Basically more threats, but then right off the bat, Luffy adapts to his speed and grabs him. Yet more time in the spotlight for these kids.
お前らに応援される筋合いはねえくらえ催眠術師
Back-to-back wins. Firstly, Luffy is more than aware what kinds of people these guys are and wants no part in them rooting for him to win. But also how they keep on flipping back and forth between the active battles like this. This attack, but again, he just said my plan will not be fooled and then he gets hit. This is normally where he'd find a way out of it, isn't it?
てめえは一体何なんだ。
モンキー D ルフィ俺は海賊王になる男だ
The end to what I thought was actually a great series of battles, and it's great how in the end only one person made it off the slope and then was taken out by Usopp. That was sick.
お疲れ様
Two wins once more. Firstly, I appreciated his standing tall and looking threatening till the last second so they'd leave, made me think of All Might at the end of season 1 of My Hero Academia. But also how she turns up in perfect time to aid again.
キャプテンクロの方がスタンダードなんじゃない肉が食いてこいつは
Just a nice subtle look from him at the comment about pirates. Clearly they have their opposing views, but it seems Luffy has understood her a little better after the people he's met so far.
今ここで起こったことを全部秘密にできるか？もう終わったことをわざわざみんなに話して恐怖を与えることはね。
He's great, even after everything he's been through. He'd rather the villagers live in peace, thinking their island was never so close to being attacked, and live happy lives instead.
今朝はどうしたのかしら、ウソップ君。
なんか調子狂うな。やる気が出ないや。
少し強く言い過ぎたかな。
It is actually hilarious to show this side to the equation too, that these people kind of want him to run around shouting and, in their minds, lying so they can get motivated in the morning. It's actually cool how Oda gave them a little base, an Ickle flag flying, and some stumps with a kind of training thingy on it for them to practice their long-range attacks.
俺は本物の海賊になるんだ。
そんなの急すぎるし、キャプテンこの村大好きじゃないですか。
So sweet that the kids react in this way. Clearly they all deeply care for him.
できた。
ウソのお兄ちゃん。
キャプテンウソップと尊敬を込めて呼ばれるようになってきたか。いろいろあったな。
Oh, what a welcome back story about how they first met, and this is 1,000 times more sad than I probably found it to be 4 years ago.
ウソップ海賊だ。解散する。
Such a great end to the Usopp Pirates that they're getting max wins for it. Him telling them to follow their dreams, full of tears all around, the flag breaks away into the sky and they're disbanded. It's a small thing, but how you can see that there were pictures hung up in his house all this time. So stupid. Might be a symbolic way of showing how he's wrecking it so he can't return to it. Let me know what you think.
いい船だな。特にこの選手かっこいい。
Them getting their first big ship is such a huge deal.
何言ってんだ。早く乗れよ。
俺たちもう仲間だろ。
It's nice to see how casually they agreed to take him on board, like it was already decided, which is very cool, and now they get a new crew member. I love it.
ちゃったな、キャプテン。ああ、でもさ、あの人たちと一緒だからちょっと安心したよ。
These kids were awesome. Part of the reason they were making such a big fuss was because they were worried about him going out there alone.
嘘をつくなって。
本当はウソップ君を引き止めたかったことですか。
Oh, that's really sad actually. She said she was fine with him going, wasn't going to try and stop him, but she actually did want to. That got me for some reason.
父ちゃんが俺たちのこと迎えに来たよ。
バカなこと言うもんじゃないよ。
伝説の薬があるんだ。そうだ、病気でも治しちゃう。海賊が来たぞ。
My god, that is so much sadder than I thought. He started lying to try and make his ailing mother feel better at the end of her life. Damn man, that hurt. Max wins for that.
あなたはこれからもっと強くなる必要がありますね。今日までの彼の行為に応えるためには。
Just a lovely end to her story as well. That was some outstanding character writing and building across the board for this arc, and I am deeply impressed by that. Seeing all of them now together on their ship with a new crew member, totally worth that win.
やるさ、キャプテンの後は俺たちが継ぐんだ。海賊だ。
Such a beautiful ending to this part of the story to include that. So well done. The start of the episode nicely showing each of them doing their own unique things. Usopp is having fun in his own mind, Luffy is painting a new flag, Zoro is sleeping, and Nami is looking over maps.
カフェに落書きを続けて50年。絵にかけちゃ俺の右に出るもんはね。
すげえ、50年かよ。
I don't know which one is more funny. Him picking such a high year, or Luffy thinking he's telling the truth straight away.
俺が俺たちのマークってわけか。
よっしゃ、ウソップ、ここにも書いてくれ。
Then finally getting their own proper flag also feels like a big deal.
こっちでいいのか？なんかやばそうだぞ。
Multi-wins time! I do just enjoy the fact that they're out there in the wide world floating along. It gives me a real feeling of freedom and exploration. On a different avenue, the wind here just doing its thing. Normally in anime it only kicks in when someone says something important or confesses their love or whatever. This is exactly what I meant by the previously mentioned freedom aspect. It's early on, but I do appreciate already getting a better understanding of this world's flora. Tons and tons of not walking on the spot there.
ああ腹減った俺は寝る
Zoro proving why I like him so much, that even when faced with scary stories about this place, he really doesn't care. I mentioned flora, but now here's your win for fauna.
神の裁きを受けその身を滅ぼすことになるのか
知るかなんで俺に聞くんだ
I adore how that was actually mentioned as coming across more as a question than a statement.
いや俺は昔のことなんて聞きたくないぞ
何言ってんだお前が言ったんだろ
This entire conversation between them is so easily worth a win. And Luffy pointed out how he brought it up.
早く起こせっつうの
人間だわ
This guy never did a lot of voice acting work on anime or video games, nothing I'd seen, but I did want to honour the fact that he voiced this role since he sadly passed away in 2016 at a ripe old age, so take that win.
箱入り息子なのかお前
ああ小さな頃から大切なお坊ちゃんでなわけあるか
I mean, how can I not give that reference a win, living a literal sheltered life? Such a nice touch for me. So often in anime, people seem to go days or weeks without eating or drinking, but it was oddly so cool to see Usopp settle down for a sip of tea whilst they chat.
箱入り息子なのかお前
ああ小さな頃から
They somehow managed to use the same joke again, and this time I laughed even harder at it. Getting a proper look at the average person who comes back from the Grand Line and gaining an understanding of what it must be like there, rapidly rising my interest in that specific location.
どうしたか今先に行くぜ
I seriously appreciate how they're always giving us a look into the past for both the characters and the locations that they're visiting. They've done this numerous times now.
お前海賊専門の泥棒だよなあんた失礼ね私だって場をわきまえてるわ
They're all good people really, and she shows herself to be one here. Not only will she not take the treasure, but she's happy to get it for him, which is very kind. A whole bunch of animation there when they really didn't have to do it at all.
俺の宝を早く
嫌だ
何
あんたいい加減にしなさいよ
ないんだろう中身が
ああ全部空っぽだ
Guess what? They're getting max wins here. I 100% forgot that they were empty, and what Luffy does is nothing short of lovely. It fails, but it's pure wholesome loveliness. Is that a word?
あとはワンピースしかねえだろもう一回俺たちと海賊やろうぜ
Even though he chooses to stay behind, it's so easily worth a win that Luffy would invite him to join the crew, even knowing he wouldn't exactly be a great member due to his sheltered existence. Now even I'm using the joke.
こいつらと20年辛いことも嬉しいことも分け合った離れるわけにはいかねえさ
Being nice to rare animals is always a win.
じゃあな達者でなさようなら
してお前が世界を勝ちまえ
It's been literally one episode, and yet even this feels like a fond farewell to the guy, I gotta say. Matthew Blancett, Nick Wyndham, Lightly Winter, Christopher Willis, Draki, Fancy Turtle, Kepan, Liam Knight, Luis Minito, Marquez, Keeper, The Epic Commander, Bird Without a Word, Brandon Crea, Brian Bayot, Christian Torassa, Commander Cyrus, Doggos for Life, Dragonstorm 35, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Aaron Winters, I Am Here, Your Edvinson, Kevin Alston, Cumfroik, Kylie Welp, Lisa Marie Timp, Magnus, Nathan Burr, Peter Milligan, Satakayari, Sionx 44, Sean, Sheriff Yuchiya, The 100s, Elemental Awards, Wicken Faye, Ali 50, Brainless Ben, Cecilia, Cloud Garden, Cedric, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Def the Kid 123, Devon, Eclipse Mage, Garrett Vermeesh, Gibbs, Hoved Lowe's Ritter, Israel Caldera, Jason Davies, John, Juffer6263, Kelnock, Kevin Nelter, Kai158, Kyle Jones, Laxor, Laxus, Liam Gagati, Lifty, Lionel Schultz, Marvin, Michael Lewis, Mr. Firecool, Natsu Dragneel, Nick Monaco, Nick Pell, 9028, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Q Flash, Ryan DeVeres, Sentimento, Storm970, TRS, The Danish Muggle, Tricky Nicky, Willyman,